Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. It's so great. I told you we had like a super lineup, great show for everybody today, but we generally have a great lineup. You know, what I love about this and I love about what I get to do is every week I'm always amazed with what Linda has and how she schedules things, because they always seem to be those things that is being called forth in the world to be talked about. And, you know, sometimes I'm just in awe by the people that show up and the people that are kind of out there and doing their thing. And then I get a day like today where here we are, and I just told all of you guys that, yeah, get ready for this year. We have a big 15-year celebration. And then Tama Kieves, there she is. She's right there. And what is she doing? She's doing what we talked about in the last show. She's helping us step forward in the most incredible way we can, thriving through uncertainty. And not just about that, but it's about bringing to the forefront what it is the world is calling for us to do, what it is the world's calling for us to know, and then what are the tools that we can learn, do, and the support we can get from someone like Tama who knows exactly what it's like to be stuck, to be floundering, and then not to be anymore. Today, we get to talk with her about her latest amazing achievement, thriving through uncertainty, moving beyond fear of the unknown and making change work for ya. Benny, the change word. So we're going to talk about change today. Yep. Going to get all over that. Now, for those of you that may know who Tama is, you probably have heard us playing her shows for a year, the interviews she's done. You know, beyond being a graduate of Harvard Law School, she is someone that had to look at her life, just like I did, and say, well, is this really all there is? She didn't quite say it like that. But then she wrote, are you ready? This time I dance. And everything changed. Now, I happen to know how long it took her to write that, but I don't think it's taken her that long to do something like that ever since writing that. Here she is today, out in the world, taking out messages, working with institutes to help other people do that. You know, she's taught things like A Course in Miracles. She's been on television. She's been on radio. And what is it she's doing? She is out in the world. You're not going to stop her, because sometimes when life force energy takes control of you, there ain't no stopping us. Ain't no stopping us now. Just ain't no stopping us. Tam, it's great to have you here.
It's so good to be here. Thank you.
Yep. I wants to talk about uncertainty.
And I love the ain't no stopping us now. I just started wanting to belt that out.
I want to belt that out. Benny, now the pressure's on you to find that one.
Cakewalk.
So it's like no pressure, but then pressure.
Yeah, no pressure, but in 5 seconds.
Exactly.
So, okay. So here's what, look, we're going to talk about uncertainty. A lot of people right now are like thinking, oh, what are you talking about? Fear, uncertainty. Things, how could it get any better than this, right? Economy seems to be changing. This seems to be changing. That seems to be changing. But, you know, let's not shy away from the fact that we pretty much have at least 2 generations of people that have gone through some of the worst economic times we've faced. And so my friend likes to call it economic post-traumatic stress disorder. I just think it's uncertainty like you talk about here. I want to ask you this question, Tama. I mean, I briefly announced this for you. But here's what I know. People write about things that the energy is calling forth. I want to know what your sense is of the level of uncertainty and the vibration of that you're feeling now in the world.
Oh, there's so much uncertainty, and there's so much chaos, and there's so much challenge. And I think, my main message is turning that into some excitement, because I know many of us, myself included, you get scared and you get overwhelmed. And when you're scared and you're overwhelmed, you may make weaker choices, or choices that aren't your highest strength, your highest genius. And so that's what I really wanted to do in Thriving Through Uncertainty, is I wanted to be a coach in a book for somebody to, if you're in any kind of transition, whether it's divorce or health or career, you're in any kind of transition, there's a tendency to start contracting or wanting to be safe, or thinking, when I get over there, it'll be okay. If I could just get this one thing done, I'll be okay. If this money just came in, and I'll be okay. And I wanted to help people start thriving right now, wherever you are, to thrive in this moment, because this is all there is, and the miracle is in this moment. It's not later. It's not someday. It's here. So that's the thing I see is the opportunity with all the uncertainty in the world, is it's pushing us out of our comfort zone, and most of us are floundering like we don't have conventional answers. But the good news about that is it's driving us to really listen to ourselves, and to really listen to, there's a path already within you. There's a genius within you already. And I just want to help you get there.
Yeah, I am just going to, today's show is so perfect for so many reasons. I love what you say in the book. You come right out of the gate and you say something like you're holding the door open for people. See, I love that. One of the things we think is that, and this is something I love talking about, somehow we've gotten that the door has closed and locked, whatever that door is. You call it the door of your job. You call it the door of your romance. You can call it whatever the door is, the door of your health. Somehow we believe, well, that door closed. Whenever one door closed, another one opened. You know what? What if the door wasn't closed? Ever. Ever.
Amen. Absolutely. And that you nailed it, Pat. I mean, if it really, you just caught the entire theme of this book is exactly that, where I think we write off different parts of our lives, We just get disappointed. I do, I'm a writer, and that's my biggest dream, and, putting my books in the world. And even when I was writing this book, there was part of me that was thinking, oh, what's the point? I'll have to do all this stuff in the industry and market it, and maybe it'll go somewhere, and maybe it won't, which is not very inspiring, I have to say. And I think what I keep healing in my own life is that the universe gives us 1,000 chances, and 1,000 more, and 1,000 more if we give ourselves that chance. And it takes so much courage to start over, to begin again, no matter how many times you've been disappointed, no matter how many times you think it didn't work. It's always working. It's always working. But we're not always seeing it that way, and we're not always seeing what's really going on. And so I really believe that's really what this is about. It's can you show up, even when you don't think life is showing up for you? Can you show up again? Can you give love again? Can you give yourself another chance?
Yeah. You know what I love about the word uncertainty?
What?
The word certainty in it.
Yes.
That's what I love. Because I think part of your message and what you're bringing forth in the book is to say every minute of every day, we get to choose which side of the fence we're on. I shared this with someone the other day, and actually I'm going to be doing an entire show on this, and I want to talk with you about it. I went through some psychological testing when I went back to school. You know about school, right? You know what happens when you go back to those schools, right? You go back to those schools, right? And they're like, okay, we are the school you want to go to. So I enter into a psychology program. So I'm sitting down, and I volunteer to be part of studies. My advisor said, Pat, you got to be part of a study so that you can know how to do a study. So I'm sitting there, and the faculty member sitting across from me starts to go through his survey, question number 1 on the survey. And he said to me, I don't even know if he called me by my name, but he said, question number 1, is the glass half empty or is the glass half full? And I looked at him and I said, honestly, you have to know where I come from. I had never heard this question before. I never heard this thing about the half full glass ever before. I'm from New York. I don't even understand.
I am too, honey. I get it.
So I looked at him and I said, oh my God, that's the stupidest question I ever heard. And he just looked at me and I said, I don't even understand it. Why would anybody fill a glass half full or half empty? It doesn't matter. Why would you fill a glass half of anything? I said, if you don't want to drink that much, get a smaller glass. Why do you fill a glass? Fill the glass full of something. He said, he looked at me and he said, thank you for your time. And I left. That was it. And I'm going to be talking about this. And it's because we believe in our society of presenting analogies and metaphors like this. When we come back from break, I want to talk about what you call the superpower of uncertainty. I love this. I love what you're talking about. And for those of you out there that are tuning in, we're going to tell you how. If you're thinking, how are we going to find out more about Tama? When we come back, I'm going to tell you where she's going to be, how you can get a copy of her book, and what does it mean to thrive regardless of what's going on. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
What is a brilliant culture, and how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you align your culture with your business strategy for exceptional results. Looking for a culture that drives organizational excellence? Listen to Cultural Brilliance Radio, the second and fourth Friday of each month at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. To learn more or work with Claudette, visit culturalbrilliance.com.
Are you looking for the perfect setting for your next workshop or retreat? At Spirit Fire Meditative Retreat Center, cultivating consciousness is what we do best. Our guests count on us to create an atmosphere that supports serenity and well-being. We lead from the heart and create space for the mind. Freshly prepared meals designed with local and organic ingredients, 95 acres of beautiful woods and pastures, and a facility built with green in mind. This is what you'll find at Spirit Fire. For more information, visit spiritfireretreatcenter.com.
Do you ever feel as if you're working twice as hard but only getting half as far? Are you trying to connect with your path in life and finding it elusive? Mainstream Metaphysics Radio is a weekly call-in show where we harness our connection with the universe and use what is in our power to affect change for optimal success and happiness. This hit show bridges the divide between what is and what we do not know. Eve, named one of the country's top psychics, also known as the MBA Psychic, invites you on this journey for this live call-in show with readings, featured guests, leaders, and visionaries in both business and spiritual callings. So join Eve Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com as she takes metaphysics mainstream. For more information about Eve, visit EliteTarot.com. That's EliteTarot.com.
Best-selling author, spiritual life, and business coach Joe Nunziata brings his higher energy and no-nonsense style to people who are ready to make powerful changes now. Wake up, step up, power up with a shot of Joe. Join Joe the second and fourth Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern for 30 minutes of high energy, no nonsense, and powerful tools to make powerful changes. Visit joenuns.com. That's JOENUNZ.com.
Yep. Tama Kieves is in the house. Tama, before we kind of jump over and get going on this idea of superpower of uncertainty, and then also talking about one of my favorites here about faith, I want to make sure folks, first of all, know how they can get a copy of the book. I know we're going to give a copy away today for those of you out there, but then also you are going to be traveling, as I know you to travel, and I would love for folks to know when you're going to be in the Seattle area, but also other places. We've got listeners from all over.
So the best way to find out everything and anything is at my website, which is tamakieves.com, T-A-M as in Michael, A-K-I-E, V as in Victor, E-S.com. And also, if you go out there, make sure you sign up for the newsletter. It's once a month. I do an inspiring article to keep you going, to keep you connected. Also, there's a free guide to instant practices to get over fear right now and do what you came here to do. So it's always best to be on my website, and there's an event calendar also. But I'm actually going to be in Seattle, and I'm going to be there next weekend. January 28th, I will be at the Center for Spiritual Living. I'm giving the 2 morning talks, and I'm doing a follow-up workshop on thriving through uncertainty. And the workshops are amazing. If you have any chance to get there, cancel everything and get over there, because the energy is incredible. I'm also all over the country, though. I'm in the East Coast, and I'll be in California at 1440 doing a retreat in April, which is in Santa Cruz. I'm all over the country right now because I'm touring, and so the best way to find out anything is on my website, tamakieves.com.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. And again, there is a great calendar on Tama's website that will give you an idea of where she's going to be, what she's going to be doing, and how you can come play with her, or rather dance, how you can come dance.
Dance, play, thrive through uncertainty. We're going to do it all.
When I first started talking with you here on the hour, I was talking about the idea of uncertainty, and I said something to you. You know what I love about the word uncertainty? The word certainty in it. And, you talk about this idea of a superpower and looking at what's falling apart only to know what's possible. And I wanted you to talk about that because you know a little bit about it from your own life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things that I always tell people is that uncertainty is your superpower. That, it's challenging sometimes, but what you think is falling apart is really what's coming together. That there's an expansion going on. There's a birth going on. And, of course, my own life, everything in my work is based on my own transition where I'd been a attorney at a major law firm. I'd gone to Harvard Law School. I'd graduated with honors. I was on partnership track. And I was so unhappy and so miserable. And I just kept feeling like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? And by the way, when you're in a lot of pain, things start, you start not being able to show up in a certain way. And so I used to be able to willpower my way through anything, and all of a sudden I wasn't able to do that. And it was terrifying because my identity was changing. Everything was changing. It felt like everything was falling apart. I can tell you now, in retrospect, it's because I had this other calling. I had this other dream. I had this other passion. I had this superpower of I'd always wanted to be a writer, and I'd always wanted to be a speaker, and I wanted to be a coach, and I wanted to help people find their calling and their dreams and their mission. And that life was so true and so big in me. It barged through, and it would not let me sustain a false life. And so sometimes what's going on for somebody is that they're in a life that's too small for them, or they've outgrown it, or there's some new growth opportunity, or there's some new genius that wants to happen. And again, like what you were saying about how there's always certainty and uncertainty, there really is. I am so convinced after having worked with thousands of people that there is already a path within you. There is already a path right now. You might feel like you don't know what you're doing. You might feel scared out of your mind. But the beautiful thing about this whole path is it's going to finally make you listen to the extraordinary voice in you, your instincts, your creativity, your unique path, instead of anybody else's wisdom. Everybody's listening to everybody else. I went to law. You know this, Pat. I went to law school because I wanted to, be a writer, and I grew up in a Brooklyn, New York Jewish family, and I heard, you're going to write? You're going to starve. And so it was just immediately, that was that, or I got, you can't write on Sundays, you'll get a real job. Meanwhile, just most of us got that same advice. Like, don't do what you love. Don't do what moves you. Don't listen to you. Play it safe. Be practical. Be reasonable. And what I want people to know is that the most practical thing you will ever do on this planet is listen to your love, is listen to your heart, is listen to whatever your soul is saying right now, moment by moment.
This is really the part where we wonder what the sweet spot is. I work with women, I mentor women, and I sent one of the women I mentor who was really down over the weekend. If you got the text messages I get from these ladies that I mentored, you would be like, oh my gosh, where are you finding the time to even work with people? But I was homeless at 17. I know what it's like to be looking at your life and thinking that this is really all there is. This is it. This is it, man. This is it. You're going to sell them hot dogs from that hot dog cart, girl. That's it. That's the best you can get. And if you're lucky, maybe you'll get to Woodstock. But I sent a message, and my message was simply the name of the book that I'm writing, which no PR person wants me to write. Nobody wants me to write this book. I'm just saying it right now. 5,467 Promises of God. And so that's all I sent her. I said, there are those. So rather than really look at the possibilities in that statement, right? Because I don't say what God it is, I mean, it wasn't a religious text. You know what I'm saying? It's just something I heard. And I get the question, well, how do you know that, Pat? How do you know that there are those? Now here I am. And maybe I happen to hear it from somebody I think that said it on TV. I think it's in the Bible or something. I don't even know at this point. But I resonated with it. And I want to ask you this question. What is it about us that so wants to argue for the limitations, even around promises that other people are experiencing, Tama? What is it about us that we are so dang good at arguing for how do you know there are 5,400 and whatever I said? How do you know that?
And I think you nailed it, where it's just, again, the biggest choice you will make in your whole lifetime. For me, the most important thing you will ever do in this lifetime is you will choose which voice inside yourself you listen to. And there's going to be a voice that, like you said, just limits you and argues for your limitations and tells you, you're too old and you're too fat and you're too this and you don't have an education and you're never going to amount to anything. Just on and on and on. And we believe that voice as though it's reality. There is another voice inside you that tells you you were born for this. That's why it persists. That's why these ideas keep coming back to you. You can do anything. You have this invincible power when you align to your soul, your heart, your destiny, your God, your spirit, whatever you call it. And the biggest choice in our lifetime is going to be which voice we listen to. And I struggle with that every single day. It's a practice. That's why I wrote Thriving Through Uncertainty, was just I wanted people to have a practice of knowing that this is a choice in their lifetimes. And I don't care what happens in your life. I don't care what health situation you're facing or financial situation or anything else. It's what you're thinking that creates your possibilities or not. It's what you're thinking that creates your peace or your pain. And, our whole lives isn't so much what's happening to us. It's how we respond to our lives, and it's the inner life within us. And so most of us need to be trained in that. Most of us don't have that naturally positive voice that we learned. And I think a lot of it, when you say why, I think a lot of it's education, it's media, it's what the experience you said that you went through, it's our parents. Sometimes people, I always tell my clients, I never take advice from unhappy people. I never take advice from unhappy people. Unhappy people, though, however, are giving you a lot of advice and telling you what's possible. Start listening to the people who are living their dreams. Start listening to new people, and more than anything else, listen to that love inside you, because only the love is real and only the peace is real. And for me, that's how you do access a God or a spirit or a higher mind or a higher intelligence or your true capacities.
Well, one of the things I think you talk about too is you talk about how impossible it is to create a bad life if you're good to yourself. And I think that's really what you're talking about here is like every day we can focus, just like the story I shared about the glasses. We saw it in our pop culture in the Matrix. You can't bend the spoon because there is no spoon. And, you're talking with us about the only bad life that we can create is the bad life that we envision. And the reality may or may not be true of that. But how do we treat ourselves well? How can we, Tama, how can we begin to be good to ourselves?
That's a good question. And to your point in that chapter of, that the only way to have a bad life is, you can't have a bad life if you're good to yourself. It's really all about self-love. It's just all about being kind to yourself and non-judgmental, and it's a practice. And it really is about learning to be the best coach for you, the best. Maybe you didn't have a great parent, or maybe you didn't have a great role model, but I've had to learn that over and over in my own life about how to be kind to myself and encouraging, how to try goals when I'm scared out of my mind, how to fall down and get up again, but not through hate and not through pushing myself, but through kindness. So, I have a technique in the book called Inspired Self-Dialogues, and that's one technique you can use to start learning how to be loving or kind. And what it is basically is you write down your fears and your concerns and what that negative voice is saying to you, and that alone will be ugly enough that you'll realize, oh, my God, I am listening to this horror. This thing is in my head. I don't want to be here anymore. But then you imagine that you're writing to the most loving voice you could possibly imagine, even if you have to make it up. Or maybe it's the voice that you would say to your child or to your best friend, somebody you believed in. You come from that love and you answer those fears. It's amazing because we all do have a loving voice. We all do have a kind voice. And so, especially right now, like at the beginning of a new year when people are setting goals and resolutions and intentions, it's like part of that I'd like to add on is creating that loving voice that, do your goals sporadically. Be unfaithful. Drop it. Forget, like you started a diet and you blew it today. I don't care. Start again. Be loving. It's okay to be sporadic. Just be loving and start again and choose again. And like we were saying earlier, you may have had a disappointment. You may have every reason not to believe. But please don't let that stop you. Because the second you start doing anything that you're meant to do, anything that you love, it changes your brain chemistry. It changes your zen. It changes your vibration. It changes how you see life. It gives you possibilities. So anything that you're telling yourself is the reasons you can't and you shouldn't, it's a lie. I don't personally believe in a devil, but if I did, it's that. So I think it's so important to learn how to be loving to ourselves, and it's a practice, moment by moment. And we can all start right now.
Yeah, I love this. When we come back, we're going to talk about this idea of faith, because this is part of the equation, Tama. This is what you write about, finding faith when you're freaking out. And, here's what I want. I love that because freaking out comes in so many ways and we don't know it. We can freak out over playing a sport and being down by 2 points and thinking it's the end of the world. I listened to a guy that I was playing with the other day. I played table tennis, and, he missed a couple of shots, and he called himself stupid. And I thought to myself, man, I just want to pull him over to the side and just talk to him. And all I did was I turned around to him, and I said something like, hey, dude, don't call my friend that. And that was it, and I moved on. Let's take a short break. When we come back, faith. Yeah, it's a George Michael song. But it's even more than that. Stay tuned, everyone. Tama Kieves, we'll be right back.
Well, I guess it would be nice if I could touch your body. I know not everybody has got a body like.
Curious about the meaning of life? Do you want to deepen your spiritual practice? The School for Esoteric Studies offers online training to spiritual seekers from all paths of life and individual coaching. Our Our courses synthesize Eastern and Western spiritual traditions based on meditation, study, and service applied to everyday life. The school also organizes group meditations each year to benefit humanity. Whether you're just beginning to reflect on the spiritual side of your life or are a more experienced spiritual seeker, the school warmly welcomes you to join our group. To learn more about our courses and services, please visit esotericstudies.net. That's esotericstudies.net.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey, engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and Transformation Talk Radio.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit jenroyster.com for more information.
A word of caution: if you prefer the status quo and you are not interested in improving every aspect of your life, this book will trigger the shift out of you. The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens is available now. Author Colette Steffen brings the powerful knowledge and life-changing energy and empowerment from the radio airwaves to the pages of her new book. To get your copy in paperback or ebook, visit thetruthисfunny.com today.
Amber Teal, founder of The Healthy Edge, is bringing you the hit show Healthy Edge Radio, living with power, passion, and purpose. Amber provides the support and tools necessary for you to finally release the weight and emotions that are hidden beneath the weight. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information on how you can take the next step with Amber, visit getthehealthyedge.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. It's so great to have you tuning us in, turning us on. Listen, for more information about us, go to thedrpatshow.com. But, here's the other place you can go. You go to transformationtalkradio.com. And if you happen to stumble upon transformationradio.fm, what you're going to see is we have a little message in there that says, hey, be patient with us. We're getting ready to do a little bit of upgrade right there. The other thing you're going to be hearing about us in the very near future is we have a super invitation on Patreon for all of you. What we've decided was that we need to change the landscape of paying for airtime. And so the first of 5 phases of bringing positivity to all of you and positive talk is going to come through there. And then throughout next year, we're going to be changing the landscape of how we do airtime buying, airtime selling, airtime whatever, because we stick to our guns when we say that there is power and freedom. And so today, you're just hearing a little bit about what we're doing. We are going to need your help to make it happen, and that's what this is about as we move forward. But it really ties into faith. Faith when you're freaking out. Faith when you're looking in your bank account. Faith if you heard me tell the story in your grocery line and that processing just doesn't stop. But that's what Tama is talking about. Tama, before we jump ahead and talk about this, it's in your fabulous book, of course. And again, what Tama has done in writing the book, Thriving Through Uncertainty, Moving Beyond the Fear of the Unknown and Making Change Work for You, what she's really done is she's now creating a narrative, a new landscape for us that says we can move in to that thriving zone at any minute of every day, in any place, any perspective, any situation in all of our lives. And what she's saying now is that this is a way for you to do it. So if we follow the beautiful breadcrumbs that she's laid down in this book and is helping us make change immediately, then this is how you go from surviving to thriving. Let's give a copy of the book away. But before we do that, Tama, again, website, and please mention how we can follow you on your travels.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love you to join me at the website, which is tamakieves.com, and that's T-A, M as in Michael, A, K-I-E, V as in Victor, E-S.com, tamakieves.com. I have all kinds of free resources and free gifts. Like I said, you can download immediately some instant practices to get past fear right now and find out what you're meant to do. I have a newsletter that goes out worldwide. We've had readers with us for years because we are building a worldwide community of people who are daring to live from inspiration instead of fear, and we're supporting each other in that. So please join me at the website. Also, it'll tell you different events and different programs. I do online programs. I do free programs. I have a free program coming up, actually called Thrive Alive. It's January 25th, and it's free, and you can get the recording. So make sure you sign up for that. It's going to be a free event on really just waking up and letting go of disappointment and starting all over again. So I'd love people to join me for that. Thrive Alive. It's on my website, and it's free, and you can listen to the recording if you can't make the live event. But also I'm in Seattle, as I mentioned, January 28th. So join me if you're in Seattle. I'm in California. I'm in Chicago coming up. We're in Phoenix. So just the website is the best place. We have an events calendar to find out all kinds of opportunities.
Yeah, and I want to just say, just to mention on the 28th, if you want to go see Tama, one of the things you can do is that's going to be at the Center for Spiritual Living. So for those of you, Tama, you're going to be talking at 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock, I believe, right?
Yes, and they're free.
Okay. Yep. So, and then there will be a workshop shortly thereafter. And then also you can wait, and I guess will people be able to get a copy of your book there too?
Yes. They can get a copy of the book, and they can get it signed, and they can buy $5 million for their fringe, just saying. But if you can come live to the workshop, it is the best thing I do. The live events are where it's at because, you know, the energy and the people you meet, and I love creating those spaces. And I want to meet you guys. I want to kick up your dreams right now. I want to shift you right now. I want to shift me by meeting you. So I hope I get to see you there.
Yeah. And by the way, the Center for Spiritual Living has an amazing platform. So there are plenty of seats. Don't worry about any of that. You'll be able to come in, be part of the energy, be part of the fun, be part of, 1,000 people that show up and say yes to an amazing life. Tama, thank you for that. And thank you all. Benny, 1-800-930-2819. Let's give a copy. 1-800-930-2819. Let's give a copy of Tama's book. And let's go ahead and skip the next break. Tama, okay, let's talk about faith. Let's talk about finding faith. You know, a lot of times, we can really get into what I call the faith zone. And when we're in that zone, life is good, everything's going on real smoothly. But then there's those other moments. And I told you, I was playing table tennis, better known as ping pong. And to freak out over missing a shot is the weirdest thing. Actually, Linda schooled me about something she saw in me the other day when I was playing. And she said, when did you start to talk negatively to yourself, Pat? And I thought, wow. And she said, why are you apologizing when the ball hits the net? And I said, wow. But that's what we're talking about here today. Let's talk about faith.
And finding faith. I have a chapter in the book called Finding Faith When You're Freaking Out, right? Because that's when we need it. It's like, it's like you said, it's really easy to believe when everything's going well and there's money in the bank and people love us and the guy we like calls us back or whatever it is. And people have often asked me, Tama, where do you get your faith? You have so much faith. Where do you get your conviction? Where do you have that? And I think it's because I've been so scared, It's like because I've stayed with it, because I've had so many challenges, I'm not going to tell the whole story of writing my first book, but it took me 12 years to write that book. I had so many rejections before it got accepted by a major publisher that then found me, but same thing in every part of my career, even as a speaker. Just so many times that nobody wants, nobody's heard of you yet, so they don't want you, or you don't make the same money as somebody else, or you don't, whatever it is. But for me, what has given me the faith, two things. One of the things that's given me the faith is staying with it anyway. With it anyway, and it always turns around. There's that beautiful Japanese proverb that says, fall down 7 times, get up 8. It's just that. And so I think because I've had so many things, quote, fail or rejections or challenges, and I've had to dig down deep in my own life and say, I'm going to try again because I want this life. I don't know another life to want. I don't know anything else to want. And I want to believe in this, and I believe there is a loving presence, and I believe this is a loving universe, and I believe I'm meant to have this, so I'm going to try it again. I'm going to give it another chance. So that's a huge part of it. But I think another way to find faith, one of the things I work with my clients is when you're scared, you've blocked out everything. When you're scared, you've shut down and you block out perspective. You forget things. You forget how it used to work. You forget how you did feel. You forget that things did work. So what I'd want you to do is to write down your inspired moments, the times when it did work, the times that it did believe, that you did believe, that something felt right, even if you felt disappointed later, but the time that it felt right, that it felt good. I used to do that when I was first starting to speak, and everybody was rejecting me, and I just remembered one time where I'd done a women's business thing, and they loved me, and I just told myself that story a million times, and held that feeling a million times, because one of the things I say in the book is sacred love is consistent. Sacred love is consistent. It's not a bad boyfriend or a bad girlfriend that, just doesn't call you back or is fickle. The universe is consistent. It loves you endlessly. It loves you always and endlessly, always. But we tune out. We forget. We get into fear and we block that. So what I'm trying to do is help you unblock, let go of the story that's in the way of what's right here, because there is a miracle here. There is something good right here. Even right before I was writing Thriving Through Uncertainty, my business wasn't doing that great, and I started getting really scared, like, oh my God, this is the beginning of the end. People have figured it out. I'm a fraud. They finally figured it out. Oh boy. And I was kind of, that junk, and I was kind of scared, and then when you're scared, you try to market more, and you whatever, and anything coming from fear does not do well. And then I started thinking, well, what else could be going on? Because I was just getting scared and telling myself stories like, see, you're never going to get ahead. It's never going to be okay. And when I asked myself, what else could be going on, I realized that I'd really, really wanted to write this book, Thriving Through Uncertainty, but I didn't have any time. And then I felt like the universe had cleared the decks for me. Had parted the seas so that I could write this book. And at that moment, I suddenly realized, wow, I'm not being persecuted. I'm not being punished. This isn't happening because I'm a loser. I'm being blessed. I'm being gifted. I'm being given this opportunity. So I think that's always going on for people. Something else is always going on. That faith is always there. It's your nature. It's your breath. It's who you are. It's what you're meant to have. But there's a fear that's in the way. There's a story that's in the way. And I want to help you tell a different story.
Yeah, I love that we're talking about this from actually in several different perspectives, because part of what happens is I learned a business phrase in my corporate executive year. Can you imagine me as a corporate executive for a minute? Now here we go. Benny, you're going to love this. Linda may even have some pictures. Imagine me dressing up in my little suit. I got my suit on. I got my heels on, the whole thing, the pantyhose. And like they wore back in the 80s with the bows.
And the shoulder pads. Let us not forget the shoulder pads.
Yeah, that's me. And, and so, you go through that. And of course, for me, I never thought I'd accomplish anything. So the fact that I'm joking about that is a little bit, there's an irony to that. But the other thing was that, this thing you just talked about now, where you have to work harder. I come from a hard-working family. I think you do too. Work hard, work hard, work hard, work. And then I was at like some workshop one day with, I think, Peter Senge or one of those people. And somebody said, work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
And I loved that. But I didn't figure out that also meant practice some level of spirituality and strengthen your faith.
Yes.
It took me like a long time. How do you help people with finding those different ways, as you say to your book, finding different ways for different answers? Isn't faith part of it, but also isn't there a level of peace within, whatever you want to call that, spirituality, whatever?
Absolutely. I think it is the number one thing you can do. You know, I mean, everybody's looking for an answer, because you think if you find the answer, then you'll have peace. And I want to teach you how to have peace right now, because if you have peace right now, you'll find the answer, right? So, again, you keep thinking you need an external thing to work out, to be different, and then you can be okay. And you're already okay. And we all hear that, and we all know that on some level, but to really breathe that and to really know that in our bones is a whole different ballgame. So I think it's, so I've taught A Course in Miracles for 30 years, which is the spiritual psychotherapy program of living in love instead of fear. But that's one program, right? That's not, again, I believe in any path that takes you there, I'm a fan of. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you find faith by looking in the eyes of your golden retriever, then that's my faith. It's like, but again, I think the biggest thing is starting to know that really it's about, when you were saying the working harder, it's not about working harder. It's about undoing. It's not about what we do. It's about undoing. And when I say undoing, it's undoing the beliefs that are in the way. It's undoing the stories and the beliefs. In my story, I made my whole life decision based on a stupid belief that wasn't even true. I believed my mother when she said, if you're going to be creative and do what you love and do your dream, you're going to starve. So I literally just thought, well, that's reality. That's true. And I never, ever questioned that. And I went off to law school and did all those heroic things and was so unhappy and so miserable because I never questioned a belief. And I guarantee you, everyone out there listening has some stupid belief they think is real when it's just a belief. And I want you to know that there are other beliefs, that there's something inside you, I promise you, that knows your way. And only your way is going to work. If you're having trouble doing it someone else's way, there's a reason for that. It's because you're a genius in your way, but you're not a genius in that way, right? And so, again, I think it's the most important thing you will ever do is to find your faith and to find your strength. And that might be exploring different spirituality. It might be looking at who are the people that nourish you. It might be different teachers or coaches or therapists or whatever. Start looking at the people that feel good to you, or the books that feel good to you, or the activities. Like maybe you notice you feel it more in nature, or you feel it more when you're not talking to your sister. Whatever it is, start noticing where you feel it and where you don't, and start moving towards the things that strengthen you from within.
Yeah, I am so thrilled that we're talking about this today, Tama, for a lot of reasons. First and foremost is that I believe in the possibilities of each of us. I also believe in living a life in the present moment of every breath I take. And some days I do that better than others. Some days I'm just like everybody else. My mind is going a million miles an hour on a future
I don't think you're ever going to be just like everybody else, Pat.
No,
just saying.
Well,
you're a little bit like everybody else and something more.
Oh, thank you. Yes. But what I mean is, our minds want to take us on a journey that our hearts really never bought into going. Never. Beautiful. Our heart's like, I did not sign up for that trip. How dare you take that cruise ship to nowhere? Yeah,
that's brilliant.
Yeah. Like, doesn't your heart talk to your mind? My heart talks to my mind. It says, honey, how much you pay for that cruise ship you just got on?
And it don't even serve the food you like, baby.
I'm saying. like, okay, where are we taking this cruise? Isn't this lovely? Yep, I'm just not feeling it. Ouch.
Yes.
Ouch.
Yes. Always.
How can we help
always.
people mend that ouch? Because that's what your book is about. It's about stop figuring it out and let it out, but also letting it out, moving it out, and let's say we all agree today, let's reduce the ouches that we do to our.
Yes. I have a quickie little technique that's really easy and just a simple one that's easy to understand and a good practice. I call it win lists. And what it is just because so many of us are telling ourselves, we're not doing enough, we're not getting there, we don't even know where there is, we're goofing it up, blah, blah, blah. We're so focused on what we don't have, and we're so focused on what's not working, that I want to turn your eyes and your practice to what is working. So I do a win list, and what it is like 5 or 10 things I write down every day, 5 or 10 things every day of what is working. And by when I say what is working, like things that you're moving towards your goals or towards your dreams, like actions you took. But even more important than actions you took, the beautiful thing about a win list is I want you to write down things that nobody else would ever see or know, but we would know as progress. So what I mean is, if you're usually depressed for 30 minutes in the morning, but today you were only depressed for 29, I'd put that down on the win list. That's a huge achievement. And in our crazy Western-driven culture, you may never have noticed that, or you might think, well, that's not progress, big deal. This is the hugest progress because all change happens from within. So if you thought about speaking your truth to your husband, but you didn't yet, but you at least you thought about it, that goes on the win list. What this does, also, anytime that you feel like the universe is supporting you or some weird coincidence, you just happen to be thinking about this and you just turned in onto this radio show and found out about me and I'm going to be in Seattle or whatever else, a coincidence or something that happens in your life, that goes on the win list. So what it does is it starts to train your mind to look for what you really want to see. Because if you're not training your mind consciously, unconsciously, automatically, habitually, you're going to go the other way. You're starting to look at what's not working, how it's never going to work, blah, blah, blah. So the win list is just a really powerful way I want you to focus on what is working, what's going great, a moment you felt good, telling yourself those moments of inspired moments, a moment when it was working for you, because that moment is real and you just happen to forget it.
Wow. What a great way to sum this up for people. And I know, Tama, like we do these shows, even though they're an hour, and we cover quite a bit. But, this is not a one-size-fits-all, as we love to talk about. That's why you get in front of people and you travel all over the country and you bring people, information and work with people one-on-one so that you can help discover the unique genius in each person. And that's what's so beautiful about you. The other part of it is you do it so inspirationally and so fun. It's so fun because no one ever came out and said transformation has to be heavy. It can be fun.
It should be fun.
It can be fun. I know, because I remember, I'm in that book, the whole thing about the dance. But let me ask this question one more time. Please give me your website. One last question, personal message. I'd love to know what you'd like to leave us with today.
Oh, happily. So first I will tell you, please do join me, tamakieves.com, T-A-M as in Michael, A, Kieves, K-I-E-V as in Victor, E-S.com. Also, I'm on Facebook every day with an inspirational quote and a worldwide community, on Twitter every day, so join me on social media too. But definitely get onto the website. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter. I do an article every month to really keep you inspired and ignited. So I guess, the thing I would most want to leave people with is I think somebody out there is maybe thinking that their idea or their dream or what they want is silly or, it's frivolous or that could never happen or it's too late. And I guess what I want somebody to know, I want everybody to know, I want myself to know, is that what you think of as frivolous is actually really imperative. It's imperative now. The world needs your gifts like never before. And there is a love inside you that is only inside you. Like Dr. Pat was just saying, we all have unique voices and unique contributions and unique ways of expression. And you're never going to know how loved you are until you follow that love inside you, until you follow what's calling you or what's speaking to you. So that thing that seems silly or it's too late or whatever, it's imperative. That's God's voice. That's Spirit's voice. That's your voice speaking to you, asking you to be everything you're meant to be.
Tama Kieves, everyone. Tama, thank you so much for today. Wow.
I'm so delighted to be here. Thank you.
Oh man, it feels like we're still twins. Benny, thank you for everything that you do to push the right buttons. And thanks to all of you out there. You're amazing. Let your creative genius flow. We'll see you next time.
Preceding audio was via a Skype call.